During an interviewer asks, "Tell me about yourself." This is the part where a lot of people just start rambling or they just freeze. However, in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to successfully answer this nerve-wracking question. Tell me about yourself without shooting yourself. Hello guys, welcome back again to another exciting episode of Zini's Corner. Guys, if you're just seeing this face for the first time, my name is Ezini. Here on this channel, I often talk about personal and career development plus edutainment topics in between. On this channel, you get to see videos, get to see topics that help you level up in both your personal and in your career development goals. Plus, you have fun while at it, the entertainment part. So if this sounds like what you enjoy, you are welcome. Please do well to hit the subscription button, stick around. Trust me, on this channel, you definitely want to subscribe because everything I put out here is content that help you achieve your personal or your career development goals, plans, whatever it may be. So guys, stick around, subscribe, and turn on that notification button so that you know when I drop a new video. Okay, now today I'm going to be discussing this very nerve-wracking interview question. Tell me about yourself. I know. Tell me about yourself. So this is a question that a lot of people do not know how to approach answering this question. A lot of times people go for interview, they hear, "Tell me about yourself," they start rambling or they start saying things that are not connected to the role or the company, or maybe they even start talking about their personal self, like they start talking about how they are the first born child or how their parents, all of that. So in this video, you want to stick around and watch this video to the end so that you learn how to tie both your experience or your educational background, your interest, or whatever it is to answering this question in a professional manner so that when next you interview for that role that you've been eyeing or you want, you're going to nail this question. All right? So let's start. Personally, there are 5 ways I would advise anybody to approach this question. Tell me about yourself. The first one is start with a short but engaging statement about yourself and what you do. What does this mean? It simply means start with your experience in a situation whereby maybe you're an entry level person, you do not have enough experience, or you don't even have enough experience at all. You can start with your educational background, what you studied in school, what you graduated with. Basically, make it short, make it engaging, start with your experience and tie it to the role or the company that you are applying for. Okay, I am going to just list them out, and then by the end of listing them out, I am going to give you an example or series of example of all of the strategies or all of the methods that I just mentioned. Okay, so the first one starts with a short but engaging statement that of your experience, of what you do or what you studied, and tie it to the role or the company that you're applying to, that you're interviewing for. All right, now the second one is make it relevant and tie it to the role or the company. This is very self-explanatory. What does it mean to make it relevant? What you said in the first um, method, in the first strategy, the second one simply says make it relevant. Pick that part of your experience or pick that part of your educational background that's for people who do not have experience. But if you have experience, you've been working previously, pick the part of your experience that is relevant to the current role you're applying for. Let's say you're applying for an accounting role and you've previously worked as an accountant. It doesn't make sense to start introducing yourself as a scientist. No, they are two completely different roles. So if you've previously worked as an accountant, it will make sense to introduce yourself to say, "I am an accountant who is experienced in XYZ," if that makes sense, right? So make it relevant to the experience to the role you're applying for. Tie it to the company that you're applying to. Don't take it outside of keep your introduction or keep whatever role you're starting with. Don't take it outside what you're applying for. That way, you keep the attention within what you're being asked, if that makes sense. So, like I said, keep watching to the end. I am going to give you an example of all of these things I said. Like, I'm going to give you a holistic example of where all of this applies. All right. Now, the third strategy is out when you've done the first one, which is a short statement that shows your experience. The second one is tying it to the role your company you're applying for. The third one would be, this is the part where you share a win or something you've achieved in your role. I hope that makes sense. So let's say in your previous role or in your current role, you led a team, you achieved something, you were promoted, you were given an award, or maybe in school you're the best graduating student, you led your department, whatever it is, a professional win. Please keep it professional. Don't share any win that is not professional. For example, I don't know, I just won a lottery, or I just bagged. I don't know, just keep it professional. Please. This is the part where you share a win, you share an achievement, you share something that, again, relevant to the role, professional. It doesn't have to be, at this point, it doesn't have to be such a fantastic, a big win. It doesn't have to be like something very huge. What, regardless of how small you think the win is, but it's important you mention something that shows your leadership capability, that that you're a team player, that you're able to manage a task, something that just puts you forth as a professional who knows what they are doing. So this is the part where you mention it. Okay. Now the fourth strategy is, this is the part where I say add a personal touch to your introduction. What does this mean, adding a personal touch? So a personal touch could be speaking about your interest, your hobbies, again, but you have to be very careful to keep it related to the role or the company, or let's just say sane enough, if that makes sense. Now, let me give you an example. If you're going to be sharing your hobby, please don't share something that is very ridiculous. I know people have a lot of hobbies. Hobbies are supposed to be something that you do outside work. However, look for a hobby that still somehow presents you as a responsible person that know what they are doing. Let's say, for example, you can say something. I'm not saying you should come up. This is just an example. Remember, some people have their hobbies as reading book. It's a very good hobby to share during an interview, traveling, or let's say volunteering, gardening. Your hobby could be clubbing, but it doesn't make sense to say, oh, I love clubbing, because that's kind of tells the person that, okay, maybe this person would club one day and not wake up early and come to work. Do you see how that means? Now, in is clubbing generally bad? For some people, no, it's not. Clubbing generally, it's not bad. But in that context of an interview, it doesn't make sense sharing that your hobby is clubbing or that your hobby is sleeping. Some people say that their hobby is sleeping, or saying, my hobby is eating. That's irrelevant to your interview. That's irrelevant in that context. It's irrelevant to the company. So it makes sense, this part, to share something that still kind of presents you as a responsible professional who can, be left with a tax, right? If that makes sense. So yes, this is the part where you make it interesting, share your hobby, share your interest, with this strategy, with this part. Okay. Now the next one would be wrap things. This is the part where you start wrapping things up, and leave room for further conversation. Leave room for questions. Leave room for that piques the person's interest. Start wrapping it up, because remember, you need to keep it concise. You need to keep it not so ambiguous. You need to keep it very straightforward, but not too short, not too long. So the last but not the least, which is number 5, wrap it up and leave room for questions. All right. Now, in all of this, let me give you an example of how to introduce yourself. Now, I'm going to create a hypothetical scene or introduction using myself or someone else in the situation of someone who is not experienced. Let me give you an example. If I am being interviewed and I am asked, introduce yourself. Now, an example of what I would say would be, I am Ezine, an experienced software project manager, skilled in communication, stakeholder management, and managing a cross functional team. In the last 10 years, I've worked across multiple roles ranging from customer support, operations management, product management, and now software project management. In my last role, I successfully managed and I successfully managed and led a team of 8 people ranging from designers, developers, content marketers to build and launch a financial technology application that was downloaded by up to 1,000 people in its first week of launching. This application is currently in use across multiple states in Nigeria and some Western African countries. This fintech application, by launching it, successfully increased the revenue of my company from 20% to 40%. When I'm not working, I enjoy volunteering, working in nature, creating events. As a matter of fact, in 2019, I successfully created and launched the very first sociocultural event in Nigeria that was attended by over 3,000 people in Lagos State, ranging from vendors, attendees, sponsors. I am looking forward to joining this company, bringing my skill set and expertise, and being a part of this team and moving this company forward. You see that, right? Straight to the point, not too short, not too long. Now, okay, let me give you another example. If you're a recent graduate, let's say this is what your introduction might look like, right? I am Johnny, a recent graduate of microbiology. I graduated with a first class honor in my department. I graduated as the best graduating student, and I am skilled in food microbiology. When I'm not studying, or when I wasn't studying, I enjoy volunteering, organizing student reading group, and assisting my lecturers to conduct extracurricular classes for my department. Since graduating, I've been able to take on building my skills in um, Excel management, in how to use um, Excel, how to use spreadsheets, just something. Again, remember, this is a hypothetical situation. Maybe just here, this is the part where you talk about some of the things you've done since graduating. And I am looking forward to starting my career in this company to be able to continue to build my experience in this role which I am interested and passionate in. Now, I use the word passionate because it's very important that you show the recruiter that you are passionate in this thing. Hence, this is why you're applying. So see how for an entry level person who do not have a lot of experience, or who do you don't have any sort of experience, part of your introduction or most of the introduction was centered around some of the things you did in school, because it's very understandable that you don't have an experience, like you don't have a formal experience yet. So I try to keep it around the things you did in school, the things you've done outside of graduation, what you've been up to outside of graduation, how some of the skills you've tried to build on your own, and then conclude with tying it to that, how this is your passion and how you're looking forward in building your career in that role, right? Another good thing that you can add is ensuring that I imagine that if you're applying for a role, that you've made research about the role or the company. So another thing you can add is speaking on how the role interests you and how you're looking forward to contributing again, the skill you've previously mentioned that you built to that role, right? Okay, so guys, I hope that you did understand all of this I said. Please feel free to leave your questions in the comment section if you have any question on this video or any other video on my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Here on this channel, I like to put out videos to break down this topic that help you, again, level up in both your personal and in your career development plans. So if you're on this channel, trust me, you are going to level up. Please leave me your comment in the comment section if you have a question about this video or any other thing that relates to the kind of content I put out. All right, guys, see you and bye.